Hello, this is Professor Yu, and today's lesson will be about how to create circular patterns, also to use the Revolve command, and finally to how to go through a detailed drawing of how to close a loop to make sure you're able to extrude it. So let's get started. We're going to start with a first create 2D sketch. I'm in inch mode, and I'm going to choose the XY plane. Okay, all I'm going to do is just draw a simple circle about the origin. And let's call that dimension, let's make it like 3 inches. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. I'm going to create another circle. This time, before I create that circle, I am going to use a construction over here up in the upper right. In this, I'm going to create a 2-inch diameter circle. Okay, I'm going to turn the construction command off. And now what I'm going to do is draw a circle right at the intersection between the y-axis and that new circle I just created. I'll draw a circle, and let's make that to be 0.25 in diameter. Okay. And what I'm going to do is use the circular pattern command, which you find in the middle. I'm going to click on that. First, the geometry I'm going to select is that circle, and then I need to select the red arrow under circular pattern, and then select the outside circle, which is the construction circle that I created. And you'll notice I can change the numbers here and 6. I can change the overall angle all the way through. And if I hit OK, you'll see that. Now I can click on Finish Sketch. Go ahead and zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to extrude the shape. Go ahead and extrude it both ways. And you can see that I've created a circular pattern with holes. Now another thing I can do is, instead of creating it the way and doing the circular pattern the way you just saw, I'm actually going to create it from the 3D. So let's say, for example, I'm going to create a 2D sketch off of this surface. And let's go ahead and draw another construction circle about the origin up to the center of one of the other circles. Turn off construction. This time I'm going to do a polygon. And on a polygon, I'm going to pick up that circle right here. And let's just leave it at 6. I'm going to hit done. I'm not going to worry about the dimensions here. And hit finish sketch. Now let's say, for example, I extrude that particular polygon as a cut all the way through and hit OK. Alright, looking at the front view, you'll see that the polygon is cut out now. Now what I can do is I need to switch over into my isometric view. I also have the pattern command available to me right here in the middle. So if I choose the circular pattern, I can choose that particular shape or that polygon that I just extruded, and my rotation axis will be the outside circle. And hit OK. You'll see that it also patterns that cutout as well. Kind of looks like a snowflake. Alright, so that's how you do circular patterns. Now another command, I'm going to go ahead and close this and open up a new standard inch.ipt drawing. I'm going to create a 2D sketch off the XY plane. In this case, what I'm going to do is draw some random shape and staying above the x-axis. This is my x-axis here. So what I'm going to do is just draw some random shape. I'm not going to worry about the dimensions of this. And then I'm going to finish sketch. Now you notice again that I stayed above the x-axis, and to prove that, I can actually show it under the origin folder here, and there's my x-axis. Now another command that you have available to you is known as the Revolve command. If I click on Revolve, I can click on that shape. Let's go ahead and pull this down, and my axis is my x-axis. And if I hit OK, you'll see that my shape is now formed. I have a fully 3D shape that's been revolved around the x-axis. Now in that revolution, I can change, instead of a full extents, I could do an angle. So let's say we just choose a, let's do minus 180. It won't let me do a negative. So let's do 180 and hit OK. I'm going to look at my isometric view. You can't see it from that side, but I'm going to go ahead and rotate it, and you can see the cutouts that were put into the middle. Okay. And basically, if I know what my diameter, inside diameters of stuff are, then I can easily just draw with respect. If I look back at the sketch, I could dimension each one of these points with respect to the x origin as radius or radii. And as long as I know all those dimensions, like for example, if I knew the dimension from here to the line, and say that was 0.5, then I could go point by point by point by point until I'm done. I hit Finish Sketch. It's going to just change that last one a little bit. But that's the Revolve command. The last one I want to show you is actually in your textbook. I want to do the second problem, 10-2. So I'll give you a few seconds. If you could go ahead and open up your books to the second assignment that's due today, or due this week. It's the ratchet plate. Okay. Now with the ratchet plate, what I want you to do, I'm going to do standard inch.ipt. You'll see how fast this is able to be built. I'm just going to choose the XY plane again. And this time I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. And what I want to do is go directly to the construction format. And what I want to do is draw a circle about the origin. And the first circle I want to make is a 6-inch diameter circle. And the second one I want to draw is a 5-inch diameter circle. So I have two construction circles here. Another thing I want to do is go ahead and draw a line from the center, and I'm just going to draw it somewhere out here in space. Remember, this is still a construction line. And what I want to do is go ahead and dimension that line with respect to the origin. Okay, it's not letting me do that. So let me go ahead and draw another line that's horizontal. Now I can do dimension from this line to this line and make that 20 degrees. Okay. Alright, so now turn the construction line off. What I'm going to do is draw a line from the intersection here to the intersection here. And that's just basically where the x-axis intersects there. And then what I'm going to do is draw a line from that end point to the intersection here. Okay. Again, I'm going to use the circular array command, or circular pattern. And in the geometry, I'm going to choose that line and the slanted line. My axis, I got to depress the red arrow, is this particular circle. And if we look with this, if they're 20 degrees, we have to take 360 degrees divided by 20 degrees, which gives us 18. So we want to change this to 18. If we hit OK, you'll see that our saw blade is now drawn. Now, a lot of you may just go right to Finish Sketch and then go to Extrude. And it won't extrude the shape. There's something wrong with this. What we need to do is actually close the loop, because anytime we're doing like a circular pattern, sometimes the points may not be, it might be 10,000ths of an inch difference. But what we want to do is go ahead and close those points. Okay, so let me hit cancel, and I'm going to go back to the 2D sketch. And if we zoom in on there, I'm just going to choose one of these lines. I'll choose one of the slanted lines. I'm going to right click on it. If you look right in the middle, you'll see this thing that says close loop. I'm going to select that, and you'll see that it comes up with this window. I'm just going to hit OK. And then I'm going to go piece by piece. And it says multiple sketches, just to hit it yes. And it says it's part of a sketch pattern. I'm going to remove the sketch pattern associativity. And then I'm just going to go piece by piece and just keep hitting yes. I want to make sure I highlight each one. What it's doing is joining all the points of each individual shape. Just going to keep going around in a circle. And you'll know when you're done because you'll get a window that says the loop is closed. And it says, as long as you keep going around in that process, it says the loop has successfully closed. Okay, so now when we go to finish sketch, what we're going to do is extrude that. And of course, the thickness here is 0.125. Okay. Now the last thing I'd like to show you deals with your team assignment for this week. And I'm just going to draw some simple shape that's similar to what you have. Create a 2D sketch off the XY plane. Let's see if I can go ahead and somewhat look like the shape that you have. Let's go ahead and do some construction circles. And I'm going to do a 9-inch diameter. Zoom out. And then I'm going to turn off construction. Now I'm going to draw a circle about that intersection here. Let's make that 3-inch diameter. And let's see, we also need to have an 8-inch diameter circle too. So let's go ahead and draw a circle that is 8-inch diameter. Okay, and what we're going to do is go ahead and trim this piece right here. I'll just keep trimming this in here. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and do a circular pattern. My axis, doesn't matter which circle you choose. And looks like that's correct. Do 6. Then I'm just going to trim up some of these pieces here. Okay. And I'm not going to worry about the side slots for right now. I'll leave that up to you to do. But what we need to do is draw a circle about the origin, and let's go ahead and get that hole to be, let's see, that's 1.5-inch diameter, so that's 1.5. I'm going to draw a box, a rectangle. We can do a 2-point center. I'm going to choose my center here. And what I want to do is have it says a 0.36 by 0.2 keyway. So let's make that 0.36 by 0.2. Trim. What I'm going to do is trim off this circle stuff here. I'm going to trim off these lines. It's not going to let me because I have to remove the dimension off of that. But once I've got it drawn, it's fine. So I'm going to trim now. Trim this, and trim that. So finish sketch. So let's go ahead and extrude this like so. I'm just going to use 1 inch for right now. Alright, so basically what you need to do is save this part once you've completely finished it. I'm going to save that into a folder. Let's create a new folder here. I'm going to say this is my Geneva wheel. And I'm going to say Geneva wheel. And then I need to create a new part. And in that part, I'm going to create a standard inch.ipt. This is going to be really simple. All I'm going to do is draw a circle about the origin. This needs to be 1.5 inch diameter. And then down here, I need to also create another center point rectangle. And I want to make that 0.36 by 0.2. Okay, and what I want to do now is go ahead and remove that dimension up top. And I'm also going to remove this dimension here. And then I'm going to trim this, 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 and this. Okay, so I now have my my rod here, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and extrude that. Let's go ahead and extrude that something like 3 inches. Okay, and so I'm going to save this as my shaft. And last but not least, doing one more part. I'm going to create a 2D sketch of my origin, and in here I'm going to create a center point rectangle, which 0.36 by 0.2. Okay, finish sketch. I'm going to extrude this to be 1 inch. File, save as. This will be my key. So when I go to my assembly, what you're going to see is the following. I'm going to do an assembly now. Standard inch.im. First thing I'm going to put in is my Geneva wheel. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to put in is my shaft. And then finally I'm going to put in my key. Okay, so what I want to do is go ahead and constrain this shaft. And I can do a mate constraint, or do an insert constraint, but what I'm going to do is do a flush. Actually, no, I'm going to do that with the center line of this, so that they're lined up. And the other thing I'm going to do is do a mate constraint. Let's see, we'll do a mate constraint of that surface. And what I'm going to do is rotate this up so I can see it in that surface. Hit apply, and then I'm going to do a mate constraint of this surface and that surface. Apply. And then I'm going to do a flush constraint with that surface and that surface. Apply. And so what you'll see is that once you have the key in there, it's locked in. It's kind of hard to see, but let me just try to show you. Okay, there's your key, there's your shaft, and there, right there on the outside is your Geneva wheel. So you need to create 3 parts with a Geneva wheel, a key, and a shaft so that it's locked on together as a team. Alright, if you have any questions, just feel free to email me.